Hi, welcome to the letter of the week. Today's letter is the letter Y.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along. Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.
So today's letter is the letter Y. And you make a Y by putting your thumb and your little finger out. See how it sort of looks like a Y, a capital Y? Now Y, when it's the first letter of a word, is a single sound consonant. It sounds like ya. Ya. Okay? When it's at the end of the word, it has a couple different sounds. It can be like a long E or a long I, but we're going to just concentrate on Y as the beginning sound of ya. And our first word here uses the sign of Y in the sign. And this is the color yellow. We've done lots of colors. This is going to be our last color that we're going to do. So you make that Y and you flick it twice, and now you have the color yellow. I love the color yellow. It's just so warm. It's the color of the sun. And here we have you. Now when you're using an ASL, when you're saying you, you're pointing to the person you're talking to. So if I'm just talking to you, I'm going to go you. I just point to you. If I'm talking to a crowd, a group of people, I would go you. In Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to the star, so I would point up. So that would be the direction that you would, when you point, that's who you're talking to. Whoever you're talking to, you point to them. Now, you're going to do a flat hand. So this kind of shows possession. So you would be here, your would be there. So let's use your in a sentence. Is that your book? Okay, so you do that one. Does it belong to you? Okay, do you see the difference? Okay, so you and your. Now, the sign for yogurt, ASL, for American Sign Language, they would probably finger spell it. I like kind of like the British one, so we're going to do that one today. You make like a cup and you make the letter Y, and you like scoop out, like if you're going to eat yogurt, you would use it like your little pinky. So this is the sign for yogurt. I love peach yogurt. Now, yam is a root vegetable, and it's very similar to a sweet potato. So yam, and a lot of people use them interchangeably. One's kind of orange, one's kind of yellow, but we're going to use the sign for sweet potato because I went to the grocery store the other day just to clarify the difference between a yam and a sweet potato, and I talked to the produce guy, and he said, you know, it doesn't matter. They label pretty much everything, either yams or sweet potatoes, but to them it doesn't really matter. So we're going to do sweet potatoes. So this is the sign for sweet, like candy. This is sweet. Do these 3 fingers on your chin. And potato, because when you bake a potato, what you have to do is stick a fork in it so it doesn't explode, right? So the yam is going to be like that. And yummy, you're just going to rub your tummy. Okay, this is a sign for yummy. You know, I love sweet potatoes or yams because they're yummy. And the sign for yes, imagine it's your head is nodding up and down. This is your fist. Okay, this is a sign for yes. Yes. And yarn. Again, there's no real sign for yarn. We would have to finger spell it Y-A-R-N. But if you think about it, yarn is like a string or thread that you can knit or crochet with or weave with. So we're going to use that sign. So you're going to take your little fingers together, kind of like the 2 Y hands, and you're going to come out from each other. Okay, this is a sign we're going to use for yarn. And yak, that's our Y animal. He's got really big horns, and that's how you come out. Now, a yak will live up in where it's very cold. So this is a sign for yak. And the sign for year, you're going to make 2 fists, and the top fist is going to go around it. So they're one on top of the other. This is a sign for year. There are 365 days in a year. Year. Okay, now we only have 10 words here, but they're going to be used throughout the story. So see if you can figure out what I'm signing, okay? Okay, so here's our story with words that start with the letter Y. Once upon a time, Yesenia was outside caring for her pet. Now, for those of you that don't know, it's like a really big cow with long shaggy hair and really long horns. And because need to live where it's cold, that's why they have the long hair. Now, Yesenia's like to give her her hair so that she could turn it into and make sweaters. Her favorite sweater was dyed with big buttons on it. Now, Yesenia also would get milk from her and she would turn it into delicious. It was really... She also liked to have her, when she would eat, what a combination, but she liked it. All Yesenia would care for her. Yesenia told her, are my best friend. Are. Hair keeps me warm and milk keeps me fed. I will always care for, and she did. And they lived happily ever after. Okay, now here's our story with no pictures. All right, here we go. Once upon a time, Yesenia was out caring for her pet. Now, for those of you that don't know, it's like a really big cow with long shaggy hair and really long horns. Now, they lived in a very cold climate, so her would give Yesenia its hair so she could make and knit sweaters. Her favorite sweater was, and it had big buttons on it. She could also milk her. And so she would take that milk and make her favorite meal was, and Yesenia told her, yak are my favorite friend. Are milk and keep me fed, and hair keeps me warm. I will always care for, and she did. And they lived happily ever after. Okay, so this was the letter Y. We have one more week in our letters of the week. So next week, stay tuned. It's the letter Z.
Play, play, play along.